League Two Walsall were brilliant for 90 minutes, but Leicester and their goalkeeper were too good in the shootout, and they are into the hat for round 4 of this competition. Danny Ward with 3 penalty saves, and that is that at the Poundland Bescott Stadium. Danny Ward takes the adulation, and well he might. It's finished. Walsall 0, Leicester 0. Leicester City through 3-0 on penalties.
Thank you very much, Chris. Yes, Leicester City through to the next round of the Carabao Cup, and they've done it on penalties. Danny Ward, the hero this evening in the shootout, saving all 3 of Walsall's penalties. I'm Dan Bates. We've got David Nugent and Mark Albrighton here with me in the studio to assess the kind of 90 minutes and the penalties at the end there. Matt Elliott will stay with us in his commentary position. In fact, Matt, we'll come back to you because we can see the scenes on the pitch that everyone's congratulating Danny Ward, and rightly so, really. Three penalties faced, 3 penalties saved.
Yeah, amazing stuff, isn't it? It's funny how things turn out, isn't it? And couldn't be happier for Danny Ward as well. And obviously, Mark would know him a lot better than me, but whenever I come across him, seems like a real good lad. He gets his head down, gets on with his work, never moans or complains. Difficult situation for him, and tonight, you know, it's his little moment of glory for him, and he's taking the adulation now, rightly so, from all the Leicester City supporters. He's quite down to earth about it. He's sort of shrugging his shoulders, saying, as if to say, thanks a lot, but that's what I do, and given the chance, and he's had to wait a long while, but magnificent, wasn't he? With the first 2, the third was. Oh, he could have put his cap on it, couldn't he? Gordon's had an absolute nightmare there. But I think he saw the writing on the wall, I think, Gordon, didn't he? He thought, let's get this over with as quick as possible. But Danny Ward in the first 2 saves. Oh, that's imperious goalkeeping, isn't it? I thought that was top class. But, yeah, a good ending to an average performance, shall we say, from Leicester. But, as they say, when the teams line up at Wembley, you don't start worrying about the first game at Walsall away, do you? So let's look and see how things work out. But a lot for Steve Cooper to consider and ponder.
Nuge?
We're through to the next round. As Matty said, it was a bang average performance by Leicester today, and obviously Danny Ward come to the rescue there. You know, both 2 great saves. In the first 2, the last penalty was, we were having a little chuckle about it, weren't we? How slow it went to him. But yeah, the only positive is we're through to the next round, we're in the hat. Steve Cooper's got a lot of thinking to do.
Yeah, it weren't pretty by any stretch of the imagination, was it? But I think it's just one of those ones now that you just sort of put to bed. It's done, through to the next round, and yeah, obviously, like everyone's touched on, I thought Danny Ward, he'll deserve all the plaudits that he gets for that performance there, and he won't. I think, like Matt Elliott said, he'll be very sort of embarrassed by it. He's not really one that wants the plaudits. He's not looking for them. So he'll just see it as he's done his job. He's been the hero on a few penalty shootouts in the past, and here we are again.
As Matt rightly says, though, he's a fantastic guy, isn't he, Danny Ward? He does deserve that. And you actually said before the shootout, Danny Ward's great at penalties, and he proved it with 3 from 3.
Yeah, I think it proved how much of a top professional he is last year when he weren't really getting a look in. He was still coming to the games. He was still training hard. He was working hard. He was helping the younger goalkeepers along the way, like showing them what, like setting an example to them, and yeah, like I said earlier, we've seen before that he's been the hero in shootouts in this competition and in the FA Cup in previous years. So it doesn't surprise me that he's come out on top tonight.
He actually made a really good save in the first half as well,
yeah.
Danny Ward, didn't he, Nuge, to keep the score at 0-0?
Yeah, he's probably the standout player, to be fair, for Leicester. You know, he's very professional. You know, made a great save in the first half to keep Leicester in the game. And obviously the hero at the end, saving 3 penalties to get us through to the next round. Abdul showed a few little flashes in the second half, you know, down the right hand side. But for me, Danny Ward, you know, because when it does go to a penalty shootout, you expect your keeper to, you know, come up trumps, and you know Danny Ward's done that tonight.
Yeah, Matt Elliott, obviously with us on commentary this evening. Man of the match, is it an easy shout to give it obviously to Danny Ward, Matt?
Yeah, I think over the duration, isn't it? Yeah, all things considered. Penalty shootout aside, yeah, probably another shout anyway, as the boys have said, didn't they? I thought Fatawa was decent in the second half. Without actually providing anything of any real notes, but definitely after that penalty shootout, isn't it? You know, there's only one candidate if we have to nominate someone. But yeah, no, it's all's well that ends well, sort of thing, isn't it? To a degree, although again, as we've mentioned, plenty to consider and look at. You'd be disappointed. The players have got to be disappointed with themselves, really, as well. And I think you saw that bit of frustration, a little bit of that coming from the supporters as well. You know, travelled in the big numbers. They're expecting to see a little bit more zest in the performance, first and foremost, and on top of that, extra creativity. But it wasn't there. It was a little bit not lacklustre, but sort of going. I hesitate to say going through the motions a bit, but at times the pace wasn't there in the play, was it? And you know, for a team that we built it up beforehand, and we're trying to state people's cases, you know, for being possibly in the first team mix, and a chance for them to show the manager. There aren't too many who can sort of go bowling into training tomorrow and try and confront the manager, is there really? So, but through to the next round, you know, a win of. Does it count as a win? I'm not entirely sure. They're through to the next round, aren't they? Which brings positivity in itself. But yeah, the manager he'll know what it was about tonight, really. You know, regardless of how the penalty shootout went, there's a lot for him to look at.
Yeah, I think it's. We spoke a lot before about staking a claim. I don't really see too many people that have done that tonight, which is obviously disappointing, because you want that competition. You want people to push people and push the players in front of them in their position. And unfortunately, I don't see Danny Ward playing at the weekend. I don't see him changing the goalkeeper. So other than him, I don't think there's too many that can, like we said earlier, go and bang on the door and ask why they're not playing.
Yeah, no one's going to be banging on the door, I'll tell you that for now. No, it was a pretty lacklustre display of football from the lads today. There's no drive like going through. We've seen that little spell at the end, didn't we? Like little one-touch passes that nearly got through down the right hand side. We're like, finally a bit of impetus on the ball, but other than that, there was nothing in the game where you thought, oh, he looks sharp, or he looks looking getting something like that. But yeah, no one's going to be banging on doors.
Well, one thing, you know, to defend the players a little bit there and the performance, you know, 10 changes were made. It's still a new group. There was still, off the top of my head, I'm thinking now there was Okoli was in there, new signing, Connor Cody, obviously he's been injured, coming back in. Bobby De Cordova-Reid, new signing. Edouard, new. Buenanotte, new.
Ish.
There are new signings in there. People are still gelling. Everything's still coming together at the start of the season.
Yeah, you say that. You know, it's still a new manager as well. You know, new ideas. It does take time, but you can still run round and make effort. Like, you know, try a bit harder, try and force a way into like making something happen. I didn't see any of that tonight, and disappointing. You know, I think Steve Cooper will be disappointed as well. He'll be happy that he got through to the next round, but overall performance, I think he'll be disappointed again. Yeah,
and I think the main positive that you take from it, apart from being in the next round, is everyone's got minutes. There don't seem to be any injuries, so everyone's come through it unscathed. So everyone's sort of 90 minutes, 70 minutes fitter than they were going into the game. We're looking for positives. That's about as far as we can stretch.
Matt, obviously, you've won this competition as we referenced at the very start of the show, and I think were you 2-0 down to Fulham in one of the early rounds that season as well. You came back and you won. People don't tend to remember really what happens in the early rounds. When you get to the end, it's all about being at Wembley. It's about being in the semi-final.
Yeah, of course it is, and it's a little bit early to be talking about that possibility. And I know you're not suggesting that at this moment in time, but yeah, listen, ultimately, job done. Yeah. If you weren't here and sort of witnessed it, you'd look at that and go, tough evening for Leicester, but there would have been changes straight through. No real big surprise, but when you're involved in it or watching it as we are, then you can see that there's definite room for improvement, as there was by the manager's own admission on Saturday. But I think that is a genuine reason, or not an excuse at all. The reason that he's trying to find that blend, isn't he? With new players, new manager, a new challenge, that proposition, mentioned it a few times before, back in the Premier League, and sort of adjusting to that and finding that balance. I think between trying to be secure and solid, but also having enough creativity and enough threat going forward. And at the moment, that balance probably not there. Like the slickness of play isn't there generally. You see it in the odd flashes, but not enough. And I think it's going to take a while, for that to sort of become a force, really. But I don't know. Like the boys are saying, we're struggling for positives a little bit tonight, despite going through. But I'm sure they're working hard, applying themselves, and through the week they do the patterns of play, etc. But it doesn't always transfer itself to the games itself, because unfortunately you've got opposition who are trying to counter-attack you and cause you problems. I thought Walsall were excellent tonight as well, by the way. I referenced it right at the end. I played in the old Division 4, and it was nothing like this standard. I know that for certain. And I know things have evolved over recent years and stuff, but there was evidence of that tonight. They were a decent outfit, Walsall, and maybe took Leicester by surprise a little bit, which they shouldn't do, but it looked like that. But I don't know, we keep, it is still early stages, but you want to see a bit more of an improvement, and a bit more of you mentioned the word about gelling together. You want to see that occurring a little bit more than it has been up to now, really.
Up next, Mark, is Arsenal, of course, in the Premier League on Saturday away at the Emirates. They're coming off the back of a gruelling couple of weeks, really, and then that Man City game, obviously, on Sunday as well. How many of that 11 tonight do you see maybe playing at the Emirates? A Coley potentially?
Yeah, potentially.
As certainly as a start of it.
Yeah, I think he goes back to the team that started against Everton. If I'm being honest with you, I think, like I said, I don't think anybody staked their claim enough tonight to jump into that team. So I expect him to go to the same team. Which, if we look at it, it's like I said, the lads have got through. They've got the minutes. The other lads have got a recovery week, and they should be ready to go at the weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be tough no matter what. Obviously, said Coley will play with the other 10 that started against Everton. I think that'll be the starting lineup. I think he's got his preferred back four at the minute. Skip potentially might come in with Winks and Ndidi in the midfield just for legs. It's going to be a tough game at the Emirates. Other than that, I think it'll be pretty much the same.
Yeah, we know obviously it's going to be a tough game. It's the first one away at one of the really big clubs in the Premier League, of course. And as we said, we know Arsenal themselves, they've got Bolton tomorrow in the EFL Cup, in the Carabao Cup rather, at home. So they'll probably make changes for that one as well, you'd envisage.
Yeah, 100%. Especially after the 45 minutes they had at the Etihad.
They do play PSG 3 days after, on the Tuesday.
Well, after Leicester? Yeah, they'll play into it a little bit, but, Arteta, he's a good manager. He'll want to win the game. He might make changes, but their changes will be, top quality players coming in for another top quality player. So it's going to be tough no matter what. Arsenal, fighting for the league. Leicester fighting for their lives. It's going to be a tough game, and you know, I'm sure Steve Cooper will go there, you know, trying to get the lads up for it. You know, it's going to be a grueling afternoon. You know, no possession probably against Arsenal. It's going to be back against the walls and see how far we can, you know, try and nick a point.
One thing we've seen though in each of Leicester's games this season is they've all been tight. Whether they were the defeat to Fulham 2-1, obviously to Villa as well 2-1. So, and then the others were draws. So Leicester have been in each of the games, and you can see that being again the case.
Yeah, there's been one goal in each of Leicester's defeats. You know, so the games have been close enough to like where we could nick something. Obviously, the 2 draws, you know, were tough to take. You know, obviously Palace probably should have won the game, be 2-0 up. Everton coming back into the game again. Tottenham coming back into the game. We said early on about, you know, that fighting spirit are coming back, you know, from being behind, and we're going to need a lot of that fighting spirit at the Emirates come Saturday.
Yeah, like Nuge says, it's regardless, it's going to be a tough game, and you've got to be prepared to weather some storms. I think it's one of those ones where if Arsenal are going to score, you've got to make them work for it. You can't give anything away cheap at the Emirates. The quality that they've got, even if they do make changes, is incredible. They've got some top class players. The manager's got them playing some really nice football, and it's going to be hard. But so the lads have got to go there prepared to work, to grind it out, to come under the cosh at times. But like that beside, they've got to go there with an attitude of we can get something though. We can get something. We've got a counter attack. We've got set pieces. There's got to be a way to break them down, and like I said, they've got to be prepared to do both sides.
Yeah, final save for you this evening, Matt, before you head off on your trip home. We've often seen, and Mark's been part of teams like that sometimes Leicester, when their backs are against the wall in a game, that's when they're at their best. And we know that Leicester probably will have less of the possession on Saturday against Arsenal, but if they show the resolve that we know they can, hopefully they can get something from the game.
Yeah, and they've shown that quite regularly as well, haven't they, already, even at this early juncture of the season. You know, from the off, there have been moments where, and there will continue to be moments where they drop off below par, but then they can stir themselves, as they have done, as News mentioned there, you know, games against Tottenham in particular, and they've come back on a couple of occasions. Everton at the weekend, they rallied themselves, needed to, but when called upon, that extra sort of gear is there, and that sort of determination not to be overrun comes out, and I think that emanates from the manager. I think he's instilled into them this season that it's going to be a tough challenge, and you've got to be in it for the long haul. It can't be seen as, you know, a soft touch at any stage, and they've shown quite a bit of resilience already. That'll have to be prolonged throughout the course of the season, but it's a good quality to have, and one that you're without doubt going to need down at the Emirates. But as well as that, you need a little bit of nous and guile as well. So it's finding, again, it's going back to that word balance again. Finding it on Saturday is going to be extremely difficult. A little bit of fortune along the way, but you've got to maintain that belief. You don't go down there and go under, and make it easy for the opposition. And like you said, like Mark said there about no presence for the opposition. Make them work for their opportunities, and you never know. It could quite be your day.
Thank you very much, Matt. Safe travels home. Final point to you each. Leicester are into the last 16 now of this competition. You get a favourable draw, you win that, it's the quarters. By that point, literally anything can happen. Yeah,
I think that's the attitude that they've got to have as well. Like, there's Premier League teams already that have gone out of this competition. So the fact that we've won 2 games, regardless of the opposition, we're into the hat. Who knows what will get thrown up for us in the draw, but we've got to be excited about that. It's a cup run. Everybody wants a cup run. Everybody loves a cup run, regardless of your situation in the league or what. A cup run can be a distraction from the league, or So I think we've got to take positives. Every positive we can take this season. We're still rebuilding, so it's to be in the hat is a positive.
I can just see Man City away coming now in the next round. No, we take the positives. We're in the hat. We're in the next round. It can be, as Mark said, it's distraction from the league. If the league form's not well, the cup run's always a good way to build confidence. And if you get a decent draw, win that into the quarters, you are 3 games away from Wembley. So take the positives.
Yep, that draw will take place this week, of course, ahead of the next round of the competition. That means on Saturday, when it comes to the Arsenal game, we'll be talking about who Leicester City draw in the next round of this competition. Hopefully Nuge hasn't just given away who it might be, jinxed it, and it won't be Man City away. Of course, we'll mention that, but we'll mainly be building up to Arsenal against Leicester City, of course, in the Premier League. We've just been speaking about it there. That is the next game. 3 o'clock kickoff on Saturday. That means we'll be live from 2 here in the studio. And as ever, the latest podcast available for you is with the man that's in the studio with us, Mark Albrighton, in conversation with Matt Elliott and Jerry Taggart about his whole career and his time, of course, here with the Foxes. A big thank you to Matt for travelling to Walsall this evening. Thanks to Mark for pretty much travelling from Walsall to here for us this evening. And thanks as ever, Nuge, for coming in and joining us on a night that was fairly uneventful in 90 minutes. But then Danny Ward was the hero as the Foxes are through to the next round of the Carabao Cup. Good night.